Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This is TOEFL IBT writing section week 11. One more week and your course is going to be at its conclusion. And I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make this one series of lessons beneficial for you. Not just in writing, but in reading, listening and speaking too. And I'm, from what I see for TOEFL IBT, for those of you who do submit your homework, I see quite a lot of improvement. My suggestion is keep up the good work, continue. Don't leave it. Don't think that, oh, I'm okay now, I don't need to worry about it. You keep on practicing. You can go back to week 1 and you can write back your homework and go back to week 2 and see if you can improve it. For those of you who did not submit every week, or literally have not submitted, or if you missed 1 week or something, I'll be happy to continue to receive and provide you feedback. As you noticed that this week my feedback was very late. I literally came home, looked at the presentation, making sure that the presentation did not need any changes, which I did make changes, and you have received a copy of it, the updated one. Then I had time to look at your essay and give you feedback. So I hope that you'll forgive me for not presenting your feedback earlier, but I managed to just do it in the nick of time. The objective of this week's lesson is that very much for the last couple of weeks, I am not teaching you anything new, but keep on exposing you to more writing questions and some examples too, obviously with followed homework. The only difference is I made this one, being week 11, I'm giving you 2 homework, and I'm hoping that you will do both of them. So number 1 is a reading topic from TOEFL IBT website, and it's called REM, sleep. When you are going to be preparing at home for your writing, you should be spending no more than 3 minutes. No more than 3 minutes for these the reading part. If you remember correctly from what I've mentioned in the past too, the reason that TOEFL IBT says to spend only 3 minutes to spend 3 minutes is because the article will be there in front of you as you are writing. So you should be reading the article and making some points. I think by now you have grasped what I'm talking about. If not, go back to every couple of weeks and do this again. Some of you have got your hands up. Do you have questions or you don't have my voice? Okay, so keep the questions for the later. Inshallah, I'll be able to give you time. And our lovely assistant is with us, so make sure that when she posts the attendance link, that you also sign the attendance. And now I know why you have your hands up. Yes, put your hands up so that I could select who should be reading. You beat me. I'm going, why are they asking? Why are they putting their hands up? Okay, so I missed that. But that's okay. And it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's plenty to read. So I'm going to give the first slide to Shala Azad. The second slide is going to go to Parin El Ami, and then the third will go to Malalai Azad, and then And the next one will go to Medina Amini, and hopefully I will have a slide for Mr. Hidayatullah. So I will keep quiet and you start reading. I'll be your assistant flipping the slide. Start, inshallah.
Okay, hello to all. Well, reading article REM sleeping 3 minutes. REM rapid eye movement. Sleep makes us about 20% of our overall sleep cycle, and is the stage of our sleep when most of our dreams occur. Its significance and human well-being has attracted a lot of attention in scientific research over the past few decades. This unique part of the sleep cycle benefits our physical and mental health in three important ways. Firstly, REM sleep is closely associated with brain functions such as learning and memory. During this kind of sleep, several parts of the brain experience high levels of activity. Studies suggest that this activity helps us process and organize information occurred during the day and contributes to information of long-term memories. Individuals for consistency achieves sufficient REM sleep are often better equipped to retain new information, have better problem-solving skills, and exhibit improved overall intellectual performance.
Thank you very much. Next student.
Yes. In the name of Allah, reading article continues. Secondly, REM sleep is crucially important to emotional well-being and mood regulation. These dreams we experience during REM sleep help the brain to process and make sense of emotions experienced while we are awake. Dreams serve as a form of emotional release and a mechanism for coping with unresolved issues. Adequate REM sleep has been linked to reduced stress levels, lower anxiety, and an overall more positive mood. Disruptions in REM sleep, on the other hand, may contribute to emotional instability and an increased likelihood of depression and other mood disorders. Additionally, REM sleep is necessary to maintain a healthy balance between time spent sleeping and time spent being awake. This is because REM sleep contributes to the regulation of our internal clock. Over time, this ensures that we get just enough sleep to optimize our energy levels and enhance our overall functioning. Likewise, it prevents us from oversleeping, which could interfere with our daily lives.
Thank you very much. I'll play the sound recording and then I'll talk a little bit about the reading before I give you the essay, and the next person is going to be reading the essay, inshallah.
Today, class, I'd like to address the popular notion that REM sleep is associated with numerous intellectual and emotional benefits. I think it's essential to approach the possible benefits with a critical mind, so I'll present counter arguments to challenge what you just read about. Firstly, let's consider the claim that REM sleep is closely tied to intellectual functions such as learning and memory. While some studies suggest a connection, the precise nature of this relationship remains unclear. It's essential to acknowledge that other sleep stages also play important roles in memory processing. In fact, they could be even more important than REM sleep. Attributing enhanced intellectual performance only to REM sleep may not capture the complexity of the brain's functions during the overall sleep cycle. Now, moving on to the assertion that REM sleep contributes significantly to emotional well-being, it's crucial to recognize that there are a lot of different individual experiences. While some people may indeed find emotional relief through dreaming, others may not. Dreams can be unpredictable, ranging from pleasant to distressing scenarios. So the idea that REM sleep always leads to emotional strength may not be correct. Dreams could, frankly, make things worse for some people. Finally, some researchers argue that the relationship between REM sleep and our internal clock isn't clear either. We all know people who have irregular sleep patterns due to work or family obligations who still have good energy levels and, function just fine. And they certainly aren't getting consistent and regular levels of REM sleep. This could mean that we don't necessarily need to get regular and consistent REM sleep in order to maintain a healthy energy level and a productive day-to-day life.
I hope that the sound recording was clear for you guys. Remember that I have send you the recording in Telegram plus the presentation. Now, before we go to the essay and student that I've nominated, those of you who have already read, if you could put your hands down, and those of you who have not read, keep your hands up, please. So 2 students should go down and 3 should be up. When I was mentioning to you, or the slides shows that you should be taking 3 minutes, no more than that, for your reading. Remember, every reading article has a brief introduction and then followed by 2 to 3 points. The style of the reading articles for the TOEFL IBT is nice and clear. It starts with the first point and then goes to this next point, the third point, and then a conclusion in the reading article. So this is why you should not take no more than 3 minutes. Remember also that during the official test, you will have on the computer, you will have the reading on the screen and a small screen that you're typing. So you can go back and forth. The idea is don't take too long to read. It's in front of you. You use paraphrasing to put the thoughts. And as we discussed last week, if you are like me, or some of you are saying that you were, if you struggle with introduction, then forget about the introduction. Just write point 1, point 2, point 3. But you have to use paraphrasing. This is when you need to, after each point, you need to include the view of the professor. And that is coming from your listening. And by now, you should have a good, clear idea that the professor is always rejecting the points of the articles. It is maybe he may agree with 1 point. If he does not disagree with 3, he disagrees with 2, only 1 he may agree. And as you listen, you already pick that one up too. And it's just a matter of including for each point, professor's point. Point 2, professor point. Point 3, professor point. If he agrees, then it's just going to be you're going to say that the professor agrees. Professor does not agree and explain. Paraphrasing again. I am confident with those of you who have submitted your work that you are there. So just have faith in yourself and continue to practice. I will stop, and now I'm going to go back to the slides, and I will present you with the example essay, and we're going to go with the students that I picked up already, and I think it was Malalaya Azad and then Madina Amini, followed by Adatullah. There's enough to read, so inshallah you will each one of you will have opportunity. Okay, so start inshallah.
In the name of Allah, simple essay. The reading and lecture are both about REM sleep. While the author of the article presents several benefits of his stage of this stage of the sleep cycle, the lecturer challenged the author's claims. First, the author argued that REM sleep helps us process information acquired throughout the day and makes it easier to form long-term memories. According to the article, people who get a lot of REM sleep are better intellectual are better intellectual abilities. The lecturer, however, notes that other stages of the sleep cycle may be just as important or more important as REM sleep when it comes to our intellectual abilities. He notes that attributing this entirely to REM sleep may not capture the true complexity of the human brain. Next, the article points out that dreams that occur during REM sleep helps us to maintain our mood and emotional well-being. It mentions that people who get plenty of REM sleep are more positive, while people who do not get enough REM sleep may suffer from mood disorders. In contrast, the lecturer points out that dreams are not always positive. Sometimes they can be distressing and could actually have a negative impact on our emotional well-being.
Thank you. And when I put the next slide, next students is going to be reading. Waiting for the next student.
The author argues that REM sleep helps us maintain a proper balance between sleeping and being awake. The article says that over time it ensures that we get enough sleep to maintain our energy level without oversleeping. The lecturer doesn't agree with this claim. He points out that we all know people who have irregular sleep patterns without much REM sleep who still have lots of energy and are able to function just fine in their day-to-day lives. He suggests that this means we might not need regular REM sleep in order to function effectively. In conclusion, the article and lecture are both about the possible benefits of REM sleep. The author presents 3 possible benefits, while the lecturer presents counterarguments to the author's claims.
Thank you. So just before I go to the next part, and I will give opportunity for another student to read, just pointing it out to you. So notice first point, next second point, finally third point. So even if we struggle with writing our introduction and conclusion, if that is written first, you can easily then put in your introduction. I don't put a space in when I'm presenting it for slide for you, because I really want to condense it and put it in 2 slides, not 3, 4 slides. Otherwise, when you are typing, you should be putting a space like this, just to make it nice and well structured. Similar for the conclusion, there was a space and then conclusion. Once the body is written, you easily can come up with your introduction and conclusion. But I think that by now you are doing very well, and you might not even struggle with your introduction and conclusion. So the second part, I'm going in directly into homework, but I made it a twist this time in this week. So for the last couple of weeks, we have been practicing integrated, and we have not been practicing academic discussions. So this week, I'm giving you academic discussions, and I don't think that I need to give you more introduction on this, because we have completed enough. And I'm not giving it an example. I'm not even going to give you an example. I'm just diving into the homework. So I think the student that was going to be reading was Mr. Hidayatullah. So go ahead, please. You read this slide for me.
Yes, teacher. In the name of Allah, The professor teaching a class on business. Write a post responding to the professor's questions. In your questions and should express and support your personal options. Make contribution to the discussion in your own words. An effective response will contain at least 100 words.
Okay, thank you very much.
You are welcome.
All right. So next slide, I'm going to present it myself. This is the main question. Academic discussion. I think. Can you please?
Yes.
Can you please mute yourself?
Next week, we are going to spend a lot of time in the class discussing the positive and negative ways in uh, which companies affect uh, the world around us. Before we started talking about that in class, I want to hear what you think about the topic. So here's a question for the message board. In your options, what is the best way for a company to have a positive impact on society? Sarah, I believe of the companies should focus on making their operations more socially and environmentally friendly, where charitable giving can be beneficial. It doesn't address the root causes of the serious social and environmental problems by doing business in more uh, responsible ways. Companies can have a meaningful and lasting impact on society. Uh, Moreover, if they attract positive action from consumers, they could inspire other companies to do the same. That's the only ways we can really solve today's problems. While those are very good points, I think that companies should focus on charitable giving. Uh, Philanthropy can provide immediate relief of those in need that contribute to the overall well-being of society right away. It could take years or decades for business change to have a positive impact on society, and most people just can't wait the long. Do you have my voice, teacher?
Yes, I have. Thank you very much.
You are
Okay.
welcome.
Can you mute yourself, please, now?
Yeah.
Because otherwise, when I talk, it echoes. As somebody is still has the mic on, I can hear myself. Okay, I've removed my mic. Hopefully, this might be better now. So this brings me just want to do a discussion before we move to the next couple of slides. Like I said, so far what we have done, I introduced you to a reading article. provided you with a copy of the professor's sound recording, which means that you need to read, you need to listen. So you're using your listening skills, your reading skill, and to write an essay. The example is given to you. Obviously, I'm going to give you one homework that is going to be very similar. But because we haven't done, for the last couple of weeks, we've been emphasizing on integrated essay. This week I decided, let me give you academic discussion too. For the academic discussion, just a reminder, the essay is shorter, but still the essay needs to have the correct format, proper structure. So basically you are comparing the points of the professor and the two student or colleague that as a discussions. On this one, you are permitted to express your opinion. Well, for the integrated, your opinion doesn't come into the conversation. So when I'm looking for the homework, I want to see what is your opinion on the topic. We have not done it for a couple of weeks, and I thought, let me just bring it back while I have time to see if you still remember, because I am positive that you nailed this section. You're doing wonderful, and that's why I went on with integrated examples for the last couple of weeks. But now, coming close to end of the course, I brought this one back. Now I'm going to go next part. Ms. Susan, yes? Okay. Ms. Susan is asking you guys to complete the attendance, please. Make sure that you check the chat box and do the attendance. And I will go back to the next slide. So anybody else wants to do some reading? Put up your hands so I could pick up new students, or if nobody new wants, same students as before can read. So I've got Malalai and Azad and Medina and Mustafa Sadat. Okay, so 3 students, that's enough. Thank you very much. I will start displaying and you will be doing this. So that was part 1. Part 2 is integrated. So obviously I have a reading article and I want 3 students to read. So therefore, paragraph 1 is going to be with one student, paragraph 2, another student, paragraph 3, another student, and paragraph 4. On slide number 2 is going to be another student. So 3 students on one slide, 1 student on the last slide. I hope that that's going to be fine. I'm putting it on and let's start, inshallah. Go on. Malalai Azad, you can start. First paragraph. Medina, you're going to be doing the second paragraph. Mustafa is going to be doing the third paragraph, and then final slide. I'll give it to, I can't see any hand, so I'll give it to Parveen. Start, inshallah.
The Cave of the Hands. The Cave of the Hands, found in the mountains of southern Argentina, is an archaeological site that has attracted attention from scholars for many years. The cave's fame comes from the white handprints found inside, some of which were created more than 9,000 years ago, while the exact reasons these handprints were created remains a mystery. There are several theories.
Next student, please.
Paragraph. Firstly, the handprints in the Cave of the Hands may have served as an early form of written communication, similar to an alphabet. Handprints of different size may have been used to convey distinct concepts, and further meaning could have been communicated through their arrangement. In this way, the handprints might have told stories about families, climate change, or even significant events in the lives of the ancient inhabitants.
Mustafa Sadat, I think it's your turn.
Hello, dear instructors. Okay. Secondly, the handprints could have had religious significance. The act of leaving handprints on the cave walls could have been part of ceremonies connected to spiritual beliefs, and the cave's secluded location might have given it some religious significance, creating a space visited by people seeking a spiritual fulfillment. Many ancient cultures integrated art into their religious or ceremonial practices, and the cave of the hands may have been no exception.
Thank you. And the final slide goes to,
It's mine, teacher.
yes, please go on.
Lastly, the handprints may have served a practical purpose related to hunting. The cave is quite close to areas where evidence of hunting has been found, and the handprints might have been a way for the community to make a record of successful hunts or even celebrate the collective efforts of the whole group. Prehistoric people all over the world are known to have used art to make records of group activities before the development of writing language.
Thank you. Well done to all of you. And then the last slide is a voice recording. So I will play it and you are going to listen to it.
The article presents a few interesting theories about the Cave of Hands, but it's important to examine some of their possible shortcomings. While the notion that the handprints formed a sort of alphabet is plausible, the variations in handprint sizes could be attributed to artistic expression rather than deliberate communication. As for the arrangement of the hands representing a specific meaning, well, the arrangement seems pretty random. Experts have studied the order of the prints extensively, but haven't been able to deduce any logical sequence or repeated patterns. These are two fundamental aspects of all known alphabets, even very early ones. Let's turn to the theory that the prints have some religious significance. This theory is weakened by the fact that we haven't found any religious artifacts in the cave like we have in other sites where we are certain that religious ceremonies occurred. Archaeologists have gone over every inch of the cave, and had ceremonies been performed there, they would have found some physical evidence, like a sculpture or some pottery used to serve food to participants, but none have turned up. Now, while the proximity of the cave to hunting grounds is noteworthy, the absence of depictions of actual hunting scenes or animal symbols raises doubts about a direct connection to hunting activities. It's absolutely true that early humans made artistic records of their hunts quite frequently, but they usually did so by creating art featuring actual animals. There are no other instances of humans using handprints to convey messages about hunting, so we need more evidence before we make a conclusion of this sort.
Okay, thank you very much. So with that, it brings us to the end of our lesson. So just remember that you're giving me two essays. One is part 1, where you are writing academic discussion, and number 2 is that you're going to be writing based on the reading article and the sound recording. And if you have any questions, you can ask your questions, but allow me to stop the recording, and then I will be able to answer any question that you have.